Hello, hi everyone. So, welcome to this day 12 of this particular series, which is called as Macro and VBA Automation. It's Hitesh here. So, today we're going to start with the practical concepts of the bugs extermination techniques. Right. In yesterday's sessions, we have seen all the theoretical concepts related to the bugs. What is meant by bugs? Okay, why we use the bugs, right? And what is the difference between the syntax errors and bugs? How we can, what are the species are there, and how we can, you can say, identify the types of bugs, right? And how we can also use the debugging techniques, right? So this all the particular and theoretical concepts that we have seen, right? Now today we will start with some important concept, okay, which is called as a bugs inserting techniques or some debugging techniques, right? So let's start. Okay, so I hope you all having the some particular window, an Excel window with you all. Okay, so open your Excel with you, and I hope you have installed this Excel. Okay, any versions of the Excel would be fine for the little encoding of the VB. So open your particular editor by using the Alt plus F11, right? Now let's first of all examine our code. Okay, some of the debugging techniques we are saying, and let's first examine our code. Now suppose what we will do, we're going to insert a message box function, okay, at a various location in our code, and we're going to use some debugging techniques or statements, and we will see, like, perhaps the most actually straightforward debugging technique is simply taking a close look at your particular code, whatever you are writing, okay, and to see whether that you can find the problem, okay, what kind of a problem you can find in your code. So this method actually, of course, requires a knowledge and little bit experience, because in other words, if you see, you have to know what you are doing, right? And if you're lucky and the error jumps right out of in front of you, right, so it might be easy for you to handle that particular error. But when you have a very large application and contains around thousands of lines of code, right, you definitely, your forehead will going to make you pain very much. And one more thing is that suppose you have discovered your error when you are working on your programs, right, for 8 hours straightly, and suppose at the times like that when you are running your caffeine and the willpower, okay, you are lucky if you can even to see your code and let the alone find the bugs, and thus you don't have to be surprised if simply examining that particular code isn't enough to make you find and expunge all the bug it contains. So common problem in many programs, what happens, it involves with one or more variables, okay, not taking any kind of values you expect, but in such cases you can monitor your particular variables while your code runs. Suppose I'm creating any kind of a sub procedure and I'm writing suppose debugging techniques, okay, let's create and give the names procedure. Inside this I'm writing message box cell count, okay, message box cell count. Now when you execute this routine, okay, the message box will going to display the, or message box function will display the cells counts value. Cells count in the sense this one, right, I mean the first cell. When I execute this code, what is saying is not giving any kind of a count. Why? Because the cells which we have been selected, right, and the cells we are selecting is does not having, you can say, any value in it, so it's not giving me any kind of a procedure. But when I write, suppose in this way, like 1, then I'll write 2, I'll write 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9. Suppose this I have written around 0, 10, anything I've written. Okay, and I'm keeping my cell here, going to here and debugging this. Right, definitely I'm not going to get any value. Right, now you might be getting little bit you can say worry that even I am clicking on this particular cells and I have written my particular function correctly, message box or cell count, and it's not giving me any kind of a result. Right, you might be getting bit little bit fuzzy about it, why it's not giving me this particular output. So you can say that there is might be some kind of an error I have done, so I'm not getting my expected result. Right, now what I'll do, let's correct this particular procedure. Okay, and I'm going to write message box. In this message box I'm going to write loop index, like loop index ampersand ampersand cell count. Okay, cell count, got it. Now if you have noticed that I combine these two variables with a concatenation operator. This is the concatenation operator, right? You already know about it. And inserted a space character between this particular operators, right? So otherwise the message box strings the two values together and make them look like a single value. So you cannot actually, you can also use the built-in constant method like VB new line. In place of using this space characters, you can use the VB new line method, right? Or attribute as a VB line, or you can say you can write line feedback break, okay, which display the text on the new line, right? Or my val, these are all the things you can write, but I've used this in a simply way. Now let's run this, let's count. Now see, okay, let's give the right. Now see, now let's give message box the values, the values uh, ampersand. Okay, the values are given. Now if you will see, instead of this which I'm writing like message box, the values are loop index and cell count, you have also have another method to write this particular syntaxes, which will going to show the index, like by using the message box at the rate sorry ampersand VB new line, right, and ampersand, right. Then I'm going to write the cell count ampersand VB new line, and then ampersand my value you can write. Okay, we got some error at the start. We should not write this one. My val has been given. Now let's give the particular property, right property, otherwise it will show it's a my val. Okay, so my val, so a function is not defined. Let's see which function has been not defined. Okay, we haven't defined the loop index. Actually it's a message box and the loop index, right. Let's give the errors, we're getting so much error here. Yeah, that's fine. Right, now if you will see, like this techniques isn't a limited to monitoring the variables, because you can use a message box to display the some sorts of informations you are writing, right. Your code is running for that complete, you can use the loops and all the series of sheets. But if I write, suppose let's create a sub debug, and inside this debug, oh okay, yes, I identify, I can write a debug here, sub debugs. Okay, we can't use the procedure as a identifier, and inside this debugs I'm writing message box, right, and active sheet dot name, ampersand ampersand type name active sheet, right? So we have written this one. Now if I'll run this sheet 1 worksheet, can you see easily it giving me this particular result, right? What is the current sheet of this particular working we are working with, right? So this has been given me a, that is the active sheet 1, right? So in sheet 1 I am getting the worksheets, you see. Now what we will do, in order to handle some errors like this message box and loop index error, we have a one method which is called as an debug.print statement, right? An alternative to using the message box functions into your code. You can insert one or more temporary debug.print statements, and by using these statements which you can print some value for one or more variables and the immediate window which you are trying to print. Suppose I am writing debug dot, can you see automatically I have got assert, so it's not assert, we have to use the print loop index cell count, I'm writing, and my val. Okay, rest you can do what as a comment. Now let's run this, right? Let's see, if you're running this particular message debug.print, with the message box, let's see, with the message box debug.print, okay, expression error we are getting, right? Actually we want to show debug.print, I think this way, the values are okay. Okay, you can start your debugger from here also. I can say run to the first line is not executable statement. We can write our line here. See, now if you wanted to run this specific, you can use this particular statements. Okay, so this is the mostly debugger functions. Run to the cursor with this line statement, shift plus enter. Okay, now you have seen that this has been get in the red form. If I run this, it will going to show me the syntax error. And definitely it's a syntax error. Why? Because this active sheet dot name and this one which we are trying to print. So if I'm writing instead of debug dot print, okay, debug dot print, and when I execute this one, so it's printing me the, right. Now see, it's not displaying any kind of an, you can say, a block or message block which I want to execute some kind of a procedure, right? So let me show you the perfect example of it in a some debugging way. Suppose you are creating what, I am going to developer option, go to record macro, record a macro and give this name as a debugs, right? Give this name as a debugs and do the okay. And what are the sort of operation we're going to do? I'm going to use the rand and between, so this rand between I'm taking as 100 to top to 100, right? See, I got my random integer. Now in this random integer, what I am telling, yeah, I guess let's do the flash fill. Okay, and let's do this one. And these are some common operations I have performed, like go to insert. Okay, after going to insert, performing the like convert into table, right? Again I'm going here and doing this, let's sort by the customing sort and sort by from Z to A cell values from cell color, right? On the top color, on the bottom do the okay, means different. Okay, we haven't selected any kind of a criteria till yet. Column ones and values from small to largest. Okay, we have done some kind of an operations and we have performed some kind of calculations in this particular table. Okay, and suppose I'm taking this one, especially this column, format as a table. This one, see, right? I have performed something. Now go to developer again, stop the recording, go to macros, you can say debugs, right? Now you already know that if I run this, it will going to run, right? Now what I want, this in sheet1.debugs, go to edit. Oh, okay, wait, where is the macros, debugs and edit. Now you can see, right? So these are the operations which I have performed there, right? If you will see here properly, that this range a1 is dot select I have done, and this all the code you already actually think of it, right? In that formula I have entered like a rand between and from 100 to 200 and I have done the selection method and right. So these all the things I have already done it. Now if I want to start the debugging of this particular programming, right, if any kind of an error I have just executed, so it has started with a this particular function, right? Now if you'll see, let's execute this one only. Okay, and execute this one. You can say runtime error 1004 expecting object to be the local. Now debug. See, when I had done the debug, it has gone to this particular sheet, active sheet dot list objects dot add. It means this one. If I run this one first, it means telling that again expecting object to be local. Go to debug. In the table one, what is saying that which I have selected? I have selected this one, right? This tables I have selected for it. And when I'm going to my VBA editor and when I'm launching this, you can say expecting object to be local. Now what thing you can do, if you wanted to select like suppose let's copy this whole code. Okay, go to here, get it, go to VB editor, paste it like this only and run it. Go to sheet, can you see this is working fine as just I have mentioned, right? And whatever the debugging has been there, we have started with our debugging. Okay, let's run to the course and add a watch. We can add a watch like here at this line, what I want, add a watch. Okay, expressions you can give from debug procedure, break when the value is true. Add means expression you are giving, what type of expression you want to perform. Okay, so you can give the add a watch and you can do the okay. Okay, an expression like suppose you are giving expressions of greater than, okay, wait, expressions module on the sheet 1 we are selecting range. Okay, so you are given expressions, can you see here, right? You are given us some kind of an expression to here, right? So on the basis of this parameters, if you're going to see, you can edit the watch and you can add and delete the watch from here. It means that you have given us some kind of a statement till here, you should not be able to execute this program. But when I'm running this, so it's saying again, if I'm doing the debug and when I'm again running this, it's showing me debug. Why is showing me debug? Because there is an already at this object in this range, they in this particular ranges we already have a one table one which we have been executed here. Okay, so kindly select the different table, it's telling me, right? If I wanted to change, right, if I'll change this, like from B, not a B, what I'm telling from H or M 13 to V25 or V30. V30. Okay, this I'm selecting. Now try to execute this again. What is showing that in this particular range which you have selected, and in this particular Excel data, can you see inconsistent calculated column formula we have. Okay, let's go to our VBA editor and let's run this. So it may showing C, right? So what I want, my code has to be get executed till here only. Okay, so if I run this, you can end the program. Or suppose if you're giving the breakpoints to some specific programming, you can see range a1 dot select has been get selected. Okay, and from range a1 dot select has been get selected, right? Can you see this has been get selected? Now at this point only I'm getting my debug error. Why? Because I can see that it is my active sheet, and in this active sheet on that particular range we already having some kind of a formula, right? So it is an active sheet. Now give the breakpoint to this. Now run this. It's not going to get executed until this particular debug will going to get solved. Okay, so in this particular way we have to use the debuggers. Okay, this is all about the debugger, how you can use the debugger things. Okay, means stepping through your code while in a break mode. What you can do, you can step through your code by line by using this particular stepping mode. Okay, got it? Suppose now what I'll do, I'm going to take a one sheet and view code in this one, and let me take a different procedure. Name this procedure as a sub watch window. Okay, watch window. So we're going to see the watch window cases, like because in some cases what happen, you may want to know that whether a certain variable or some kind of an expression takes on a particular value or not. For example, suppose that your procedure loops through a 1000 cells, right? And you notice that a problem occurs during the 900 iterations only of the loop. Well, you could insert a breakpoint in the loop. Okay, but that would be you can say mean responding to 899 prompts, right, before your code finally gets to the iteration you want to see. Okay, and that gets a little bit boring, at least in real way. Okay, a more efficient solution for this problem I can say is that it involves a watch expression. What we can do, just now we have done the expression, watch expression, right? So suppose you created some watch expressions and which puts the procedure into the break mode. Whenever a certain variable takes on a specific value at a counter equal to suppose 900, then you can create a watch expression and choose that your debugger wants to display the AdWords data box. And suppose if I have created one kind of a procedure, and inside this procedure what I'm writing, just we have seen that we have to count the 1000 value to the cell. And directly I'm saying, so I can set the dim counter. Is it a dim counter as long, and dim sum square as double, square as double, and let's then initialize this value. Okay, because we required the cell counter to be get for counter equal to 1 to how much I want to do printing 10,000, right? Counter 1 to 2,000, and I can give the sum sqr some squares, and okay, let's just initialize this sum squares. Okay, plus cells, and counter we can initialize because I'm using the counter as a variable, and as an index, row index and the column index. Dot, you can say value should be square of it, so value of square. Okay, I got it. Let's give the initialization or incrementation of our particular counter which we have set. We have first done the counter of, right, next counter message box sqrs. Got it. Now let's solve this one. It's a mssqrs expected at the end of the expression. We have been encountering some kind of an errors, I guess. Contains dot value raised to 2 and some sqrs. Okay, and let's give the, okay, we have to give the watch expression, I guess. Then let's go to, what I'll suggest, go to this particular add watch dialog box, and here you can say add watch. You can say counter I have been set, and counter equal to I am setting as 900. Okay, watch window on a module 1 or a sheet 1 we are setting. Okay, sheet 1 watch expression, or you can say break when value is true. Okay, counter 9 equal to 100 we have set in, and break the when value is equal to true. Okay, enter the valid actually VBA expression, because we have to enter the like counter equal to 900 only, or just the counter also will be automatically get selected, but we have to give the number, right? Now if you will see specifically this line which is giving me an error, right? See, expected at the end of expressions, events don't require this one. Now see, now if I run this, okay, let me first delete this sheet 1. Oh god, where is my that specific, yeah, this one. Now let's run this. You can say 0, right? So if you have seen that watch type we have been created, and some squares is to value square, now it is giving me 0. Now let's give the 12, and now let's run this. Right. Now if you will see on a sheet 1 on this specific, if I'm running this, that is maximum value is 1. Now context I'm selecting as a this one, right, and counter I set it as a 900, right, which is value is raised to square. Now the value which I'm trying to predict in the list local, okay, using the watch window particular tag, okay, you already know this has been giving me the context in sheet 1, okay, and type which we haven't just specified, because some square can be a double and can be a long, and counter can be long, and some square we have set it as double, and it has to be get initialized as 0 and get implemented by 1 to up to 1000. Got it? So next counter and the message box some squares we have been given. Okay. Now if I'll run this again with this particular sheet, okay, let's give the debugging option. Now see, when I'm running this one, it's showing me debugging. Okay, now just do the debugging, and whatever we will do, we're going to give the some toggle breakpoint till here. Let's run this. Okay, on each counter, like this one we have selected, and message box, and let's remove the breakpoint here. Okay, till here we're going to print out. Till here we're going to print it. Okay. So this is the working of the debugger. We can set it in the breaking points till here where we want to execute the code, and you can see, right? You can set as a local window also here, like add go. You can set as a local window if you want, like if to give the expressions, like selecting here and going to debug again, add watch. Sorry, and watch expression is as stated as counter equal to 900. Let watch into procedure, so you can define the procedure in which procedure you want. Suppose in module 1 or this workbook, click went true. Now say in for the module 1, if you are running this particular procedure, not going to give you the same answer. Can you see on module 1 in sheet 1, right? So this is all about the debugging techniques, where you will going to encounter the so many types of errors in which you have to identify and to solve the errors. Okay, so tomorrow, maybe not in tomorrow, like maybe on Monday. Okay, on Monday we will start with the some, you can say a basic operations, or you can some programming operations with a VBA. Okay, what are the types of how you can working with the ranges, or you can copy and arrange with a variable size range, how you can select the end of a row or column, okay, by using a column, end of a row or column, or how you can loop through the different things very efficiently, right? And little bit of small applications, or you can use the or create our small applications that, okay, the concepts like multiple strings and chart versus and chart, okay, character objects with a character formatting, and different programming concepts we're going to set. Okay, so I guess till today this much is enough, right? I hope you have understand everything, right? And if you wanted to learn in this deep, okay, how this VBA works in data analytics and data science, so definitely you can connect to the Coachx.Live. They're going to graduate at the very best level. Okay, so till then everyone, bye bye and take care. Okay, we're going to see on Monday.